Just give us a ring whenever you can. It doesn't have to be like this. We can sort it out. I hope you need whatever you need from me. I or anybody else. I just need to know you're safe and where you're going, that's all. You don't want to go and get the dog today? No? Between you and me, I don't, just let me know what's happening. I ain't got a clue. Thank you.
We remain extremely concerned about Katie Kanyon's welfare after she was reported missing from home last week on Friday. Detectives from the Force Major Investigation Team are following a number of lines of inquiry to try and find out what has happened to Katie. Her family...
Katie Kanyon was 33 years old. She lived in Padiham, a town in Lancashire, England. She was a mother to 2 children, a son, and a daughter who depended on her for the daily necessities of life. School runs, meals, homework supervision, and the consistent presence that children require from their parents. By all accounts, Katie maintained a stable household. She worked, she managed her responsibilities, she was present for her children in the way that working mothers across the country manage to be present every single day, balancing employment with the demands of parenthood. It was on the 22nd of April 2022 that the spelling of one word in a text message would set alarm bells ringing for her family that day at 12:18 p.m. Katie's daughter received a message from her. "I love you and I'm sorry. Ring your dad. He will be looking after you for a while from today. I need to get help so I can be a better person for you. And your brother. Please know I love you and I'm not upset with you. Sorry, I couldn't tell you about it if your dad won't look after you. Andy will always have your back. Remember, ring your dad or Andy." One thing in the text message stood out immediately. The spelling of the word "while" was missing, the H word. Katie never spelled it this way. Another message was sent to her son saying, "Hey dude, I love you. And I'm sorry, you need to ring your dad. He will be looking after you from today. I need to get help. It's not you. I love you. Will you look after your sister? And no, Andy will always have your back. Get your dad to come and get you while I'm gone. If you won't look after, you get him to take you to Andy again." The word "while" was incorrect. Katie's mother, Dawn, also received a text message from her at 1:42 p.m. It said, "This is the bravest thing I've ever had to do. I need to find some peace and sort my mind out. So with the $6,000 Andy gave me to pay the debt off, I'm being free for a while until I figure all this out." Just like the other 2 messages, the word "while" was missing. The letter H, a text message, had also been sent to Andrew Burfield, who was Andy in the text messages to her children. It said, "I want you to know I'm truly sorry for everything." Andrew Burfield and Katie Kanyon had had an on-off relationship for several years. Dawn, Katie's mother, sent a message to her sister saying Katie's walked out on the kids. This was completely out of character for Katie. She was an utterly devoted mother, and her family knew she would never go away and leave her children behind. 5 p.m. Dawn contacted Sarah and Jenny, Katie's sisters. Jenny got in touch with Andrew to see if he knew where she was. He said he had no idea. He told Jenny he was at work that day, and she had gone to his house to drop her card and keys through the letterbox before going to a clinic to get treatment for her anxiety. What he was saying didn't add up, so Sarah and her boyfriend Anthony went to Andrew's house. Andrew lived on Todd Morden Road, and when the pair arrived to talk to him, they saw her white Ford Fiesta parked outside his house, which still had her belongings inside, but Katie was nowhere to be seen. Andrew was not cooperative with Sarah and Anthony, and he ended up calling 999. He told the operator, "There's a guy here threatening me. He's kicking my door in. I don't know his name. He's a friend of my girlfriend. He's standing in the foyer. I'm going to barricade the door." The police soon arrived on scene, and Sarah and Anthony spoke with them. They explained that Katie was missing, and that all these messages had come through from her phone. A missing persons investigation was immediately launched. The search started at Andrew Burfield's home. He was cooperative with the police and gave them ideas as to where she could be, including this clinic she had allegedly gone to. He showed the officers the message she had sent him and let them look around his home. He got the ladders from his Ford Transit van so they could check the attic and joked, "Do you want to look in my van too?" He had also sent her several voice notes asking her to ring him, and he had also sent a message to Katie's son on Instagram. He said to her son that Katie had decided to go away for a while and asked him to care for her dog with the dog's name. Indy being spelled incorrectly as news of her disappearance began to spread, missing posters were circulated with a description of her.
We remain extremely concerned about Katie Kanyon's welfare after she was reported missing from home last week on Friday. Detectives from the Force Major Investigation Team are following a number of lines of inquiry to try and find out what has happened to Katie. Her family are extremely concerned and say Katie's disappearance is out of character for her. They are currently being supported by specially trained officers. We are continuing to search in the area along with partners from Lancashire Fire and Rescue Service and the Mountain Rescue Teams. A 50-year-old man from Burnley was arrested on suspicion of kidnap on Saturday, and today detectives have been given a further 36 hours to question this man. This man is known to Katie. We continue to be extremely concerned about Katie, and we have a large team who are working hard to try and find out what has happened to her. Whilst we keep an open mind, it is obviously of grave concern that we haven't seen or heard from Katie since Friday morning. We continue to support Katie's family and to keep them updated around any developments.
She had last been seen wearing black leggings, flip-flops, a white and blue top, and a blue cardigan. One thing that was deeply concerning was that her phone had been permanently disconnected. 60 specialist officers from 4 police forces were involved, and searches were carried out to try and find her. The hunt involved police and fire service officers, dog teams, mounted police mountain, rescue volunteers, and drones. The task before them was huge. The area to search was vast and dense, including a forest that made up nearly 5 square miles. Her sister Sarah wrote on Facebook, "It is now a waiting game. We have done everything we can, searched everywhere and contacted everyone." Then a witness came forward. Police said that a woman who matched Katie's description was seen getting into a silver Ford Transit van, accompanied by a male, and they issued an appeal for anyone who had seen anything similar to come forward the following day. Saturday the 23rd, Katie's sister Jenny sent Andrew a message. "Andy, I think you know a hell of a lot more than you're letting on. I have read over the messages Katie sent to her kids, and she doesn't even spell like that, or speak like that, which is what the kids have also said. Katie knows how to spell and mentioned about you having dyslexia, which makes sense to the spelling. You sent them texts. You know, where Katie is, the police will trace. Where she was from, the last message sent doesn't add up. How she would drop her car, her keys, her bank card at yours, but no phone, and none of her other bank cards. It's about time you came forward and started telling some truth." Now Andrew replied, "I know you're worried and upset, but you really can't be throwing accusations at me like that. I had all that last night with Anthony and Sarah. I thought we might work together on this. That's why I gave you my number. I reported her missing last night, as I said. I gave the police all Katie's things." She posted, "This is worrying enough without you adding to it. The police searched my house last night, so I think we should leave it down to them now." Jenny replied, "Still doesn't make any sense. Andy, yeah, we'll leave it there, and hopefully CCTV will give us answers." As the investigation expanded, police began reviewing security footage from the morning of April 22nd. They obtained video from various locations along the route that Burfield's van had traveled that day. The footage showed the white Ford Transit van traveling toward Gisborne Forest, a rural wooded area in the Forest of Bowland region of Lancashire. The footage captured both Katie and Burfield in the vehicle as it moved through the landscape. Police then reviewed footage of the van's return journey from Gisborne Forest. When the van came back, only one occupant was visible inside the vehicle. Only Andrew Burfield was seen driving the van back from the forest. Katie Kanyon was not in the vehicle. Cell tower data provided additional corroboration of the vehicle's movements. Katie's mobile phone had pinged on cell towers as the van traveled to Gisborne Forest. Her phone had also pinged on cell towers during the return journey from the forest. But Katie's presence could not be confirmed in the vehicle on the return journey. Only her phone's digital signal suggested a route that matched the van's path. Notably, Andrew Burfield's own mobile phone had remained at his residence on April 22nd. His phone showed no movement, no travel, no change in location. His phone did not travel to Gisborne Forest and back. This meant there was no digital record of his movements from his own device. Only the vehicle tracking, the CCTV footage, and Katie's phone signal provided evidence of the journey. On April 23rd, the day after Katie disappeared, police began receiving reports of Andrew Burfield's activities throughout the day. His behavior during this time period seemed unusual to observers. Burfield visited a property that evening at approximately 8:40 p.m. Burfield switched his SIM card from one mobile phone to another. He transferred his SIM card from an iPhone 8 to an iPhone 7. The reason for this change in devices was unclear and seemed designed to alter his digital footprint or communication records. When police arrived at Burfield's residence that evening, they arrested him on suspicion of kidnapping.
Been arrested on suspicion of a kidnapping, Katie Kanyon. I understand that's why you're in custody. This interview is an urgent interview to try and ascertain the whereabouts of Katie currently. Alright, I'm aware that you've requested legal representation, but at the moment we have been authorised by the superintendent to conduct this urgent interview because there is a real concern for the safety of Katie, and you will get a chance to speak to a solicitor later on. It's a very simple question, Andrew. Can you tell me where Katie is? You don't know. So is there any clue you can give us as to where she might be?
I did give you a clue earlier on. I think she's at a rehab centre.
A rehab centre?
Or some sort of clinic.
Right, okay. And where would that be?
I haven't got a clue.
And why have you given it she's at that location?
Because that's not that location, one of the locations. Yeah. I think because that's what she spoke to her. That's what she wants to do.
So that's, she's given an indication that that's what she wants to do. But you're telling me you don't know where she is. I'm going to appeal to you now to let me know if you do know anything at all.
That's fine, I go and get her myself.
Yeah? Okay, because you're aware that her family are really, really concerned.
Yeah.
The last place she's known to be is popped up on your road.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Which is obviously why you're in custody. So it's reasonable for us to think that you may know where she is.
Okay.
Alright. So please, if you do know.
I don't, honestly. I did say to the officers earlier, I mean, they left. I went and got tea sorted out with kids, and then they came back and were arrested. What I said was, I'll go there and I'll write everything down. And have a list of, because they're asking me stuff when you were going through my phone. So I said, write my phone, I don't know. I'll answer it. So that's what I did intend to do tonight, but I'll do.
Where is the last location that you know that she was?
My house.
Right, so you know she was at your house?
Yes.
Okay, and when was that?
It was at 9:20 yesterday morning.
Okay. So since then you don't know whereabouts?
I don't know where she's gone from there.
Alright then, so we need to give you that opportunity. If you didn't know, just tell us.
No, I get it, but I'm being arrested for kidnapping.
Yeah, she obviously could be in any state that you want to do everything we can to locate her. No?
No.
Alright, okay. Is there anything else you want to say before we
No.
Okay, so the time is now 10:44.
At this point in the investigation, the full scope of what had occurred remained unclear to investigators, but the evidence was beginning to suggest that Katie Kanyon's disappearance was not a voluntary absence. In the interrogation room at the police station, Andrew Burfield sat across from investigators. As evidence accumulated against him, as investigators presented him with CCTV footage, cell tower data, vehicle tracking information, and the suspicious messages sent from Katie's phone, Burfield's account of events changed. He could no longer maintain his original narrative of having no knowledge of Katie's whereabouts. Instead, Burfield presented a new version of events. He told police that he and Katie had gone to Gisborne Forest together on April 22nd. The purpose, he stated, was a picnic, a casual outing between two people in a relationship.
I believe that you want to speak to us today, so I'm just going to hand it over to you to tell us what you want to say.
We brought the van up and we went to our site, which we always go to. I say always, we've gone to twice.
Right.
That's where she still is.
That's where she still is. Okay.
While they were at this location, Burfield explained, Katie had made a bet with him. She had challenged him, suggesting that he could not hit a can of Coke with his axe.
So we don't know what went wrong. You were aiming at the tree and...
No, I can't even say a slip, bell, like nothing. I just don't even know what went wrong. It's stupid, isn't it? But I'll never do that. It's so stupid.
How close was she from you?
8 feet, 10 feet. There's no help there, you know. There's nothing.
No.
No people. There was signal on the phone, they couldn't carry her. Can't. So the boyfriend can't carry you, your girlfriend.
Talk me through these next seconds then. This has happened now.
I just don't know what I'm doing, honestly. I'm clothing, we're going to go to her straight away.
According to Burfield's account, he had accepted this challenge. He had picked up an axe with the intention of hitting the can. However, he stated he had miscalculated the trajectory. Instead of striking the can, the axe had struck in the Katie's head. He claimed he had aimed for a tree beside her, but the axe had changed direction and made contact with her instead.
I just don't even know what went wrong. It's stupid, isn't it? But I'll never do that. It's so stupid.
The thing is, Andrew, you've told us a lot over the last few days, haven't you? And you've told us a lot, certainly today, a lot of information. And a lot of it just does not add up, okay? And ultimately, we don't believe you of what you've said. Okay? I do not believe that this has been an accident. This is about your control and your over Katie, and you're losing the control. You have not dug that hole in the 10 minutes that you have said to us. It might have been longer. Okay.
I don't know how long we were there, do I? I'm saying dug all that.
We know how long you're there, and you haven't had long enough.
Katie herself even had her concerns about you. She even told her own sister. Basically what she said to her sister was, if I go missing, it will be him, meaning you, who's done it.
It was, Burfield insisted, an accident, an unintended consequence of a casual challenge, a tragic mishap that had occurred during a recreational activity.
Started as a kidnap, a missing person inquiry on Friday. Yesterday, it dramatically changed to a murder hunt when the police charged their suspect, rearrested their suspect on suspicion of murder. This evening, they have announced that he has now been charged with Katie Kanyon's murder. We got a brief statement from Lancashire Police. It says, Andrew Burfield, 50, of Todmorden Road, Burnley, has been charged with Katie Kanyon's murder. He's due to appear at Blackburn Magistrates Court at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Katie's family have been made aware, obviously, by the police. She's still being supported by trained they're being supported by trained family liaison officers. This is Gisborne Forest, half an hour, 35 minutes or so away from where she was taken in this silver transit van that the police located here. They know that she left Burnley. They know that it was here in that van that was then back in Burnley. They have 60-odd people searching yesterday. It's been scaled down somewhat today, just for logistical reasons, but there have been dogs out today. There have been officers searching selected areas. They're working with psychological profiling computer systems that can tell them where they should look, what their search parameters should be. But the hunt now for what they believe to be the body of Katie Kanyon will continue. The search operator here told me he expects it to be resolved fairly quickly, but history tells us that in terrain like this, thousands of acres of forest, it can take a long time for a body to be found. It could be that the police have quite some job to do. But Andrew Burfield, age 50, charged with Katie Kanyon's murder, will be in court tomorrow morning.
On Friday, Burfield maintained that Katie had been struck only once on the back of her head, and that she had sustained no other injuries from this incident. This account, if true, would reframe the situation from a deliberate act to an unfortunate accident. An accident could be tragic, But accidents are not necessarily crimes. Accidents happen to people every day. Accidents can be the result of poor judgment, of miscalculation, of bad timing, and worse luck. But investigators had begun gathering forensic evidence.
You do not have to say anything, but anything you do say may be good evidence, okay? So all that's to say is that you are under caution, not a voluntary procedure, so that anything that you said can be noted down, okay?
Just keep it slow and steady. What? We've gone past.
Slow down. Just stay, stop here. So just
staying around while we get started.
These were not injuries consistent with a single accidental blow. These were injuries that suggested repeated, forceful contact. The pattern of injuries, according to the forensic pathologist, was inconsistent with Burfield's account of an accidental strike from an axe.
I want to bring you some breaking news now coming to us from Lancashire. Police, in connection with the search for missing Katie Kanyon, 33-year-old mother of two, the police say they have sadly found the body of a woman. The discovery was made last night in an area as part of the Forest of Bowland after receiving new information. And at this stage, they say they're not in a position to formally confirm the woman's identity, but they do believe that the body is that of Katie. Her family have been told, and they continue to be supported by specially trained officers. So a body has been found in the search for missing Katie Kanyon. Andrew Burfield, who's 50 and of Burnley, has been charged with her murder.
The number of injuries, the distribution of the injuries, and the nature of the trauma suggested a different scenario than the one Burfield had described to police. The forensic evidence was contradicting Burfield's account. As investigators continued their work, additional details emerged that suggested the situation was more complex than a simple accident. Police interviewed members of Burfield's family. They learned that on April 21st, the day before Katie disappeared, Burfield had borrowed certain items from his father's residence. He had borrowed a spade and a set of ladders. On the evening of April 21st, Burfield had traveled to Gisborne Forest. He had spent approximately 1 hour in this location. Investigators examined the area and found evidence consistent with digging activity. This suggested that a grave had been prepared in Gisborne Forest on April 21st, the night before Katie Kanyon disappeared on April 22nd. If this was the case, it would indicate that the location had been prepared in advance of Katie's death, suggesting prior planning rather than an accidental outcome of a casual picnic. Further examination of Katie's phone revealed additional information about the messages that had been sent from her phone number to her family members. Analysis of her phone's data suggested that these messages had been composed and drafted weeks before Katie's disappearance. The messages existed on her phone in draft form, waiting to be sent. They appeared to have been written in advance, prepared ahead of time, suggesting they were part of a coordinated plan rather than spontaneous communications written after an accidental injury. On April 24th, police received information about suspicious items that had been placed in waste bins at various locations throughout the area. Officers retrieved these items from the bins where Burfield had placed them on April 23rd. Inside the bins were plastic bags. Some of these bags contained residue consistent with blood. Additionally, police recovered a pair of flip-flops from the bins, flip-flops that matched the footwear Katie Kanyon had been wearing on the morning of April 22nd.
but the family hopefully can gain some comfort in the knowledge that Mr. Burfield now will spend a significant period of time in custody and hopefully the remainder of his life. At bare minimum, Mr. Burfield will now be at least 83 before he's eligible for parole. Andrew Burfield is a callous, cold, manipulative individual. He's a vile individual. He meticulously planned the murder of Katie to a manner I have never seen before and hope never to see again. His offending throughout the course of their relationship was one of manipulation and mental torture for Katie. The family and myself would like to appeal to anybody who's out there to say, if you are in a relationship and you have concerns about your partner, or if you have concerns about anybody else and think they may have concerns relating to their partner, I would request, and the family would request, that you contact the police and make a clear law application. We're very keen to ensure that nobody else is harmed in the way that Katie's been harmed in this occasion. The family have also asked me to personally thank every person who's been involved in the case to bring Katie's killer to justice. They also think it's important to express who Katie was, and the family have given me a few words that I'm now going to read on their behalf. Katie was beautiful and silly. She always surrounded herself with children, her own and anybody else's who wanted to join in. She would take kids and the dogs everywhere with her. She'd even try to set up summer camps for the local children so they had something to do and somewhere to go. She loved the outdoors and she loved people. We miss her. We miss her very much beyond words, and we will never get to express our loss.
Andrew Burfield faced trial at Preston Crown Court. The prosecution presented evidence systematically. The defense maintained that the death was accidental, that the evidence was circumstantial, that Burfield's account of the axe-throwing incident could not be definitively disproven. On the third day of trial, Andrew Burfield changed his plea to guilty. He withdrew his defense. The jury formally found him guilty of murder. On November 17, 2022, Judge Justice Goose delivered the sentence. Andrew Burfield would be imprisoned for life, with a minimum term of 32 years before he would be eligible for consideration of parole. In his remarks, the judge stated, "It was a ferocious and cruel attack. You calmly placed her in a grave and covered her body." Katie Kanyon's sister, Sarah Kanyon Holden, read a statement to the court. Katie told us she wanted to stop Andrew Burfield from being able to do what he did to her to other women. She wanted to stop him. She wanted answers. This cost her her life.